flying. I'm already going to set the heading. Okay, so there's no airplane in front of us, so I think we can switch on the landing lights, strobe lights. Okay, control check is working out. Wonderful, rudders are working. Well, it's not an ideal day for VFR flying, but I hope we can avoid the clouds. Okay, so we're going to stop here and do the run-up check. Mixture to full rich, full brakes, and RPM to 1,800. Left magnet. Wonderful. Right magnet. Both magnets. Okay. Going to enter the runway now. And we're aligned. Full rich. And slowly advance to full throttle. Correct the propeller torque with your rudder. And we're already good to go. Already reduce a little bit on the power, pick up some speed, set the trim, and reduce the flaps. Okay, looks good. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to follow this river inland. You can see it here. Okay, it looks fine. We're pretty much trimmed for the... Okay, so we don't need the fuel pump anymore. We can switch off the landing lights now. And pretty much anything we have to do now is hold our course. And as you can see, I'm not going directly because there are some pretty high mountains up there. We're just going a little bit south of it. So yeah, that's what we'll do. And we're going to follow this river to this lake, and we're going to traverse the mountains with that river. So yeah, try to enjoy the scenery. I'm going to show you some of it later, and I think that it's immediately noticeable when you take a look at the scenery that it's something completely different from the things you're used to, because it is it is handmade, and I think you can easily see it right here that it's not the generic standard FSX scenery, even though with ORBX products, with Vector and ORBX Global, you already have a very improved version of the standard FSX scenery, so you're already having a pretty good rendition of the scenery, and with the OpenLC pack, which is hopefully coming out in July, you will have an even more advanced version of this improvement that ORBX gives you. So we're at 3,000 feet now, and we're going to lean a little bit now, because at 3,000 feet you should start leaning. So what I'm going to do, take a look at the RPM gauge here. I'm going to reduce, I'm going to lean until you can see that the needle is becoming a little bit okay. That's okay now. Well, in the real airplane, you wouldn't do this just like I did, just reduce it until you until the engine stutters. You wouldn't do that way. In a real airplane, you would take a look at the EGT and set it accordingly to that. So we have to be careful here. I'm not at the moment. I won't be climbing any further because you can see the clouds are forming up here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stay at this altitude where I have the ground in sight. So I'm going to switch on the autopilot, and I'm going to switch to where's the heading mode? Heading, yeah, now it is. And the altitude hold mode. So with this, you can immediately see it coming up. With this airplane, this has a not the standard autopilot mode. You can see this gauge here, and you have to pay close attention to it. You can see now it lights up. You have to set the trim accordingly. I reduced engine power a little bit, and you have to set the trim up now so that the airplane can hold your preset altitude and your preset heading. And you have to, as soon as you correct the engine, the RPMs or anything, you have to correct the trim, and it tells you when you should do that. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Takes some getting used to, but it's okay. Alright, I think we're pretty okay. Trim a little bit down, a little more RPM. Okay. You see, I'm currently now at 6 gallons per hour, and that's a pretty good economy setting. So that's also a indication of how good your leaning is, because you can see when I go up with you can see I'm turning to rich now. You can see I'm leaning now. See how the range goes up? You see it? Okay, engine starts to stutter. Okay, that's the way it should be. You see, this is also a possibility for you to control or to check how good your leaning is. So I'm a little bit sorry that the weather is not better, but I'm flying with real weather now. So well, this is the current weather in this part of the world, so I hope that it's okay for you. And you know, it's a rather rough part of the world, so I think it's realistic to have it like this. Okay, we have a little bit of headwind, as I can see right now. I think, at least. No, it should be... I don't know, it's a tailwind. That's good. And with this A2A Piper Cherokee, there comes a pack which is the AccuSim package. Well, what's that? If you never heard of it, it's something very special that A2A Simulations is providing for you. It is the attempt to simulate the airplane just like the airplane would behave in the real world. They the engine, the wind effects on the airplane, the wind, and also what it does, it adds light effects, it adds wind effects, sound effects that you should be able to recognize. You can see as I am opening this, pay close attention to the sound, okay? Did you hear the sound changing? And it's even the same with the ventilation. Hear it? Okay, so this is what I mean. That's only a little example of what